In this video, I'm going to be installing a new backup camera on this Toyota 4Runner. And while I'm at it, I thought I'd just install a front-facing camera as well. Now the reason that I am doing this upgrade by relocating that backup camera is I recently installed this high clearance bumper from Ascend Fabrications, and in doing so, with the tire swing out and the accessory panel, it completely blocks the view of my rear backup camera. To do a relocation process like this, you're going to have to get an aftermarket camera, and there's a lot out there. They are all very similar. They do range in price. I wanted to do this project a little more on the cheap. So when I was searching for cameras, I went to Amazon, and there's quite a few to choose from. There's a lot of different brands, and I landed on Auto-Vox. So there was a couple reasons why I landed on this camera. For one, I was looking for a camera that had a 180-degree view. You know, I'm not concerned necessarily directly what's behind me. I want to see as much as I possibly can back there. The other thing was the multiple ways that you can mount it. So it does have a little bolt post on it that's very common on these types of cameras. You know, you can access or leverage an existing hole. You can drill a new hole and, you know, bolt that thing onto your vehicle. But the feature about this camera that stood out to me and something I was looking for was a flush mounted camera. So you can actually remove that post off the back, and then leveraging double stick tape, you can just mount that flush to any surface and run your wire. So it's a nice, easy plug and play system. Included with this camera is 2 bundles of wire. The first one is what the camera is actually attached to, that has your mounting point, whether it's the post or the double stick tape. And then it just has this little plug-in that's going to hook onto the other bundle of wire. It also has these 2 wires coming out of it, the blue and the white, and that's going to change the orientation of your picture on the camera. Say if you wanted to flip from vertical, flip it upside down, you'd cut the white wire. If you want to change the mirrored image in a reverse camera, it's going to be a mirrored image. If you want it to be a front-facing camera, you would snip that blue wire, and that would change your left to right or mirroring of the camera. And then you have this other bundle of wire, and this is really where you're going to spend most of your time for the wiring process. You have this little plug that plugs into the camera wire. Off of that, you're going to have the positive and negative wire. I'm going to be plugging in or tapping into my reverse light power in order to power the camera only when the car is in reverse, and then I'll be grounding the camera in the back of the vehicle somewhere on the frame as well. From there, you're going to run this big bundle of wire under the car, into the cab, under the dash, and to your head unit. I have an aftermarket Dasaita head unit where I only need to plug in my AV port to get that thing to work. Some other models are going to require this trigger wire to also be plugged in or tapped into in order to let the head unit know and the camera turn on when the car goes into reverse. So that's pretty much it. It's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to get started on this reverse camera install. All right, now that I've accessed the back of the head unit, I'm going to go through all the harnesses, and I find my CAN bus, and off of that is this camera AV plug, and it's currently plugged into the camera coming in. That is the stock camera. So I'll be unplugging this, plugging in my new backup camera. And since I'll be installing a front-facing camera, the Dasaita head unit comes with an additional harness. I'll be plugging that into the back here. That has our AV plug for the front camera, as well as a 12-volt wire to power that front-facing camera. Next, we're going to find our power source for the rear backup camera. So I'm going to be using, like I mentioned, backup light power source. This little access panel in the back of the 4Runner is where I can get access to that. Reaching around behind there, I'm able to pull out the backup or the rear light harness. And now I'm going to try to figure out which one of these is the power wire for the backup lights. So what I've done is I hooked up this tester to ground. I put my parking brake on and put the car in reverse, making sure to not have any of my lights on. But what that does is it turns on the rear backup lights. Now I can figure out which one of these wires power is going to. And I have a guess that it's this red wire. So I'm going to go ahead, strip this back a little bit, and then splice into this red wire to power the camera. All right, the head unit is on. We're gonna go ahead and put the car in reverse. And it looks like our backup camera is working perfectly fine. These lines, we can go ahead and get rid of those in the settings of the head unit. There's also some wires you can snip to change the orientation of the camera. But once we get this thing permanently installed, we'll go ahead and fine tune it the way we need it. All right, let's get this thing permanently fixed into place. Let's put this thing in reverse and see what happens. All right. I do still have the lines on here, but that just helps guide you in. You can turn those off. I'll show you how to do that. But I love the 180-degree view. I can really see what's happening behind me on all sides of the vehicle. It's great. All right, so I want to turn off these reverse lines now. I have a Dasaita head unit, and here's how you would do that. I'm not sure if the process is similar on other head units, but for the Dasaita, you go ahead and put the car in park. Go down to your settings, go to car, scroll down to extra settings, reverse trajectory display, turn that off. Lines are gone. All right, the backup camera is completely installed. I have everything secured under the vehicle. The thing is working great. I'm gonna move on to installing the front-facing camera. I'm gonna wire this one up a little bit differently than I did the backup camera. On my Dasaita head unit, there's a harness that is specific for the actual front-facing camera that will have that AV port that I need. It also has a power wire attached to that harness that I can use this trigger wire to attach to provide power to the camera. So I don't need to plug this longer power wire into anything. Say in the back, I had to hook this wire into the reverse lights to power it. This trigger wire will provide all the power I need. Then I just have to ground this wire, tape this one off, and I'm done. So with that, I'm going to get going on the install. All right, the front camera's all wired up, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if she works. All right, looks like everything is working. What I am noticing though is the way that the camera is installed, I am getting a mirrored image. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that by snipping the blue wire on the camera wire harness. All right, let's see if that worked. Perfect. So now I'm seeing exactly what's out the front of the vehicle. It's no longer a mirrored image. All right, I'm done with the front camera. Well, that completes the install of this reverse and front-facing camera. It's going to be really nice being able to see where I'm going again when I'm backing up. And now I have that added benefit of having the front-facing camera when, say, I'm out overlanding, I'm coming up over the top of a hill, and I can't see what's down there in front of me. If you found this installation video helpful, or you want to see other modifications and installations that I've done on this 4Runner, go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.